اوكي. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه وولاه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد, inshallah, this is like our last Q&A session in this series of how, after the series finished, of how the Prophet ﷺ deal with or relate to his wives. We have a list of questions here, and inshallah, after addressing them first, then we'll see if you still have questions, inshallah. If a couple has lost trust in each other, a couple, and a husband and wife, has lost trust in each other, and it seems there is no way forward anymore, how and when can one decide whether to end the marriage or to continue to make things work? What are the limitations, parameters, and guidelines in Islam that one should take to reach the decision to separate or to make the ultimate decision of getting a divorce? Okay. This question has many points. I'm going to try to address them as brief as possible, but I want you to understand that every case has its own footprint or has its own fingerprint. It's not similar as many people think. Yeah, there are guidelines in general, but when it comes to applications, there are religious, social, psychological, financial, personal, physical issues. Okay, and it is unfair to speak from one perspective and leave the rest. Normally, it boils down to one issue that was not handled, and to reach to that level, it becomes hard to make a precise, surgical precision kind of decision here. When two people do not like each other, it's either from the beginning of the marriage, like they did not like each other, there is no match. At that time, it becomes very easy to separate or divorce. It becomes harder when you have kids. That's another social aspect. And then things get complicated, meaning now we live with each other, we sleep with each other, we talk with each other, we eat with each other, and we're not handling the issues based on that gap. So there is a gap in the beginning, an emotional gap or a physical gap or whatever gap. There is no attraction. There is some financial problem, and all that is not addressed. And then everything in our life, we start building the whole marriage institution on a bad foundation. So we come after 15 years or 20 years or 5 years, whatever years, then we have an issue. I want you to pay attention to that because normally 90% of the people who want to divorce, because it did not work. But why did it not work? It did not work from the first day? If the answer is yes, why you waited until now? If it was working in the beginning, then now it's not working. So why you are not addressing the issue that is new? Okay, and the reason that you are getting divorced, is it because personal perspective, or it is because of concept? Concept, meaning like trust is a concept. There's no trust, like you said here. They don't trust each other. What does that mean? It means you feel that the person is hiding from you, or is a trust issue that you have yourself, no matter what the person did in front of you? Because trust is a main big deal, And when I say big deal, it's your own decision. It's not like anything I do that will make you trust me. Pay attention to this. Me, Mamdouh, your Sheikh, I can be the husband, when I'm talking to my wife, there is nothing in this world that I can do that make you trust me. It is your decision to trust me. That's it. And now you decide what do you need? What do you want to see? So you can decide to trust me. And that's it. I want you to pay attention to this issue very, very well, because everyone have that trust issue. So trust is now like, I trust you as my sister or as my student or as the wife or whatever it is. So why did I trust you? Because I decided to trust you. And how did I decide to trust you? Based on what? Based on a few things I wanted to see. I want to make sure that my wife is there whenever I need her. And, when I call, she talks to me. I look in her eyes, I feel good. So that's it. But now, if I have an issue, if my expectations are higher and if they are less than I trust, so if I ask my wife and she did not give me the answer that I want, and she did not do the things I want, she was tired, but I explained, I interpreted that as she is, sneaky, she is exhausted, or she is, trying to rest, and I'm interpreting that as she's avoiding me. Oh, that means there's another thing. Then I build these issues. So now I want to make sure whenever I'm dealing with someone, is it a personal perception? It's a perception issue, like, personal perception, or it is a concept. It is like an issue. Like we are going through financial hardship, and I don't like that, so I don't want that marriage. We are going through some physical issue. You are not intimate with each other, or there is no attraction or something like that. So that's an issue. Then we have to talk about it. Family, his or her family come first. We have to talk about that. Friends, work. He's not there to talk to you, or she's not there to talk to you, and you want to feel that emotional thing. People are sometimes romantic. They want feeling more than work. Older generation, they show their love through physical exertion of effort, like, the wife is cooking and cleaning and doing and this and that, and if she doesn't do that, she feels worthless. The husband is working hard outside and all of this, and he feels that he loves his wife and his family through that. So if they do not appreciate that, means there's no issue. So the idea, I hope you get the idea. So when you say a couple lost trust in each other, what is trust? What is lost trust in each other? Two people mistrusting each other, that's a big deal, by the way. And a husband not trusting his wife, or a wife not trusting her husband, yeah, that's a personal issue. But both of them mutually lost trust in each other, that means something comes before that. There is a gap that makes them lose trust in each other. A gap of communication, a gap of intimacy, a gap of emotion, a gap of finances, a gap of social. There's some issue. She's doing something behind his back, he's doing something behind her back. They're not open with each other. They're not talking with each other. They're not giving each other their own space. And not everything the wife has to share with the husband. Not everything the husband has to share with his wife, about families and about friends. And not everything. But there is a guideline for that. So what makes them lose trust in each other? And you say, the question also says, it seems there is no way forward anymore. That word seems. So that means you need a professional opinion. So my advice would be, go speak to a counselor or a therapist or a marriage counselor and see why it seems. Maybe it is not true, but it seems to one or both of husband and wife that they are not. There's no way forward. Always there's a way forward. Even divorce is a way forward. I'm going to talk about that like in Friday night, inshallah, next week and the week after. So there's always a way forward. Moving forward means you are still standing, you are still healthy, you're still a human being, you're still a Muslim, you're still a man or a woman, you're still a mother or a father if you have children. There's a way forward. You keep moving forward. But what direction? You never stop. And that marriage is not moving forward, yes. But it seems, So we have to make sure that it is not going forward and there is no way to go forward. There is always a way, by the way, if you decide to. As long as there is no physical harm or abuse or, your emotional well-being is intact, but it's a matter of patience or struggle. People can take struggle. You can take a job for 20 years or 30 years or 40 years or 50 years that not necessarily you like. And that's what Allah Azza Jalla said. Maybe you dislike them, but Allah make goodness come out of. So you might live and cope with someone or something that you dislike because there's goodness coming out of it. There's a financial stability, there's social stability, there's lots of other things. But unfortunately, we sometimes looking for something that we cannot pinpoint. We cannot pinpoint, like, I'm just not comfortable. And who told you that you'll be comfortable once you get out? You just want to try. Trying divorce. Divorce is not something that you try, Divorce is something that you do when there is nothing else to try. But unfortunately, people want to try marriage, want to try divorce, and then they regret later on, but it's too late. So how and when can you decide? When is the minute you start feeling an issue with the marriage? From first day, this is when. First month, this is when. And that's why I say premarital counseling and postmarital counseling. And actually, I'm going to be, advising few things that people it will shake the community a little bit, but I hope, inshallah, people can bear with me and see the point, objectively. I feel that every married couple, at least once every 6 months, they have to see a therapist. The healthy ones, the good ones. Normal. Like you do not feel that you have a problem. Like you go to physical checkup. I am feeling now, me Mamdouh, from my study after what I went through, I feel that have to go to a professional therapist or psychiatrist or someone, have to talk, have to get everything out of their chest that they are holding to continue. If they don't do that, problems will appear, even after 30 or 40 years of marriage, trust me. And it might lead to divorce, actually. And it does most of the time. So my proposal, this from Family Resource Center and all of these kind of things, that every couple have to go. And everyone individually have to go as well. So let's say every 6 months, everyone individually go see a therapist. Get everything out of your chest. I don't like this, I hate this, and I feel that, I feel down, blah, 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 all of these things. Let the therapist tell you exactly what you're going through. If you need medication, you go see a psychiatrist to get prescription, well, be it. If you need to learn how to breathe, be it. If you learn how to communicate, learn some communication skills and so on. And once a year, maybe, or once every 9 months, the couple have to go to couples therapy. That's what I'm saying. If I feel this is one of the ways to prevent this dispute in marriage. So when is all the time? It's now. Don't say, when I see such and such, then I have to go seek, treatment. No, you go do physical, you go do regular checkups. Your children do regular checkups. Why? They're not sick. You do not only go to the doctor when you're sick. So you need marriage counseling and advice in this age and time, not because you are struggling. Actually, it's just to maintain that you do not struggle. So that's when. And how you have to determine who to speak to. How it's easy, just talk to each other and have that. And I'm not going to surprise you here, but I'm going to tell you, these things has to be agreed on at the time of marriage. And these things has to be agreed on if you are already married. Even if we have to come up with a new contract, like a post-nuptial agreement. And I don't want you to be scared of that. It's not only about the financial issues. It's for both husband and wife. I want everyone now to have a post-nuptial agreement if you are married. And if you are not married, you have to have a prenuptial agreement. Not only to decide, the estate at the time of dispute. This is the least you should be worried about, actually. From my research, I found that fighting for money in the court, that's not the goal. It's more of a revenge. It is more of trying to secure some net or some safety after trust was lost. The person who was the closest to you is leaving you, whether it is justified or not. but money is the only thing to hold to. Or to revenge, I'm going to show him or I'm going to show her, she's not going to get anything, or I'm going to get everything from him. It's more of a revenge issue. Otherwise, normally people who have problems, they come to me and they're ready to make a settlement, an agreement, and we finish it in a couple of hours and each one goes to their way. So those who go to the court, it's not like because really they are behind that. No, they find themselves driven into it. And attorneys, unfortunately, are the ones who are like blowing in the fire. It's like the shayateen are blowing in the fire to make it bigger, Otherwise, if we don't have lawyers and only we have mediators, people will not go to the court and fight. They will go mediators. But you have lawyers who make their income for both of you to fight. You see? So that's not the issue. So when I have a post-nuptial agreement, you and her husband now go and say, let's have an agreement and let's figure these things out. Let's agree that we are going to go to therapy every 6 months. Let's agree that how we're going to raise our children. Let's agree how money is going to be handled now. And the last thing is, like, if, Allah forbid, we have dispute or we get to the divorce, we're going to do it in the Islamic way. Just write that. We're going to do it in the Islamic way. And if you're not clear about Islamic way, or you're afraid that Islamic way is not going to give you much, write down what you want. Half of the wealth or this or that is not going to make you happy. It's not going to make you happy. The problem is, are you able to manage? Are you able to manage financially and all of that? Most of the time, a wife fights for that, and then she cannot. She cannot manage the house that she fought for. She cannot manage the money that she fought for, and she loses everything, and she ends up with depression. She ends up with, self-contempt, and the problems happen. So the issue is not as small as you think or as general as you think. So what are the limitations, parameters? And as long as you don't transgress, you only take what's your right, Islamically, even if it's a penny. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, when they separate from each other, Allah will give wealth. So don't think that the money you are taking now, this is my haqq. Is your haqq according to Allah's way or haqq according to Uncle Sam? Don't look to the practical issue. Because if you look to the practical issue, Uncle Sam is going to give you more. If you look to realistic, But Sharia is not about what you see and you think is right. As I said, a woman with children, Islam tells the husband to take care of his children from A to Z, whether their mom is divorced or not. And if they are divorced, custody goes to the mom, and the husband who is divorcing has to take care of both of them, because their mom is the one who's going to take care of them, and he has to take care of those who take care of his children. So basically, Islamically, if you look at it, the kids will be with their mom. He has to secure for them a residence. That means he's going to pay for the rent or buy a house and pay for the utilities and pay for their schooling and they pay for their clothing and they pay for everything. That's more than half of his wealth, of his income. Now the government gives 25 to 15 to 40%, maybe 25 average of his income. And now his income that is claimed in the tax, he might be making 200,000, but he's only claiming 60,000. So it is going to be, and there is a cap. There is a highest thing. If you're going to have 2 kids, it's 2,000. If you have whatever, it's like maximum $3,000. Even if he's a millionaire, he's not going to pay more than that in child support. So this is the legal, but Islamically, he has to spend all of that. Now, Islamically, the wife does not take 50%, but the wife is living with her children with more than half of the wealth. You get the point here? So, like, he will be spending more than half of his wealth on his children, and their mom is with them in that. So basically, she's enjoying more than half of the wealth. But while she gets 50%, she has to work to support the children, or she's going to spend from the 50% on the children, because he only pays the child support. She has to be responsible for everything. That's only the financial aspect. What if they don't have children at all? That's fine too. If she takes 50%, that's not her right. Or the husband sometimes, because I have a case in the masjid that the wife, the wife is in another state, but she is someone who makes $500,000 a year being a surgeon or something like that, and he's not doing anything. Now he's taking from her child support, and he's taking from her alimony, and he's taking from her a lot of money. He's driving a very fancy car, and he comes to the masjid, mashallah, and prays and having fun. Is this Islamic? No. It goes both ways. Okay, so he has to work, and he has to be the one who's spending on his children, regardless how rich is their mom, even if she has the custody. That's Islamic. Every woman likes that, but when it comes against her, women do not like that. You see the idea here? So what I'm trying to say is, take what is your Islamic right. Now, how you make sure it is realistic, Islam allows you to agree on your right. So if you made a post-nuptial agreement, and in it, with agreement of both husband and wife, that we are going to divide things 50-50 if we divorce, that's Islamic. I'm going to give you 80%, honey, because you are the one who is the cause of all of this, and I'll only keep 10% in case we divorce. That's Islamic. I'll give you everything. It's Islamic. Or she says, I don't want anything. It is Islamic. Or I only want 10%. That's Islamic. Or make sure that we write down that I get the house and I get such and such. That's Islamic. So I just agree on something. That's my goal. I do not want upon divorce to be court. Believe me, once we reach to that, my sisters, that we agree on everything, divorce rates will drop drastically. Why? Because divorce is lingering here, because who's going to hurt who, and who's hiding from who, and then the trust. Every husband, even if his wife is good, he's trying to say, oh, if I do anything, or I want to marry another woman, or I do something wrong, or she's going to, slash me, and I'm going to hide that wealth somewhere. And she's saying, if he ever thinks about this, I'm going to get him bad. See, this is only going in the head. But when that is settled, then we see how we live a better life, how we raise our children, how we take care of our well-being, how we actually really live with each other because we want to live with each other. Because if we want to separate, we can separate. You see the reverse psychology here? I want to make separation easy. I wanted to make people start thinking that separation is easy. But is it what you want? No. Why? Because I want to live this life. But now because separation is very hard, many people are living against their will in the marriage institution. The wife is afraid, husband doesn't have much, she's abused and everything, and she's staying in that marriage. And husband is very rich, but he doesn't like his wife. But he's staying there because he knows that she's going to take him to court and take his millions. Miserable. He's going to go have a second marriage or cheat. She is going to be miserable and die, or get depression, or hurt herself, or whatever. Or when she gets the bravery and boldness and she goes to the court, she's going to get hurt, or he's going to kill her. And the story is happening. So there's complications there. So I want to get rid of that by both agreeing on how to settle when they divorce. Let's get rid of that out of the way. Like, imagine if our community now, that every husband and wife knows exactly 100% what is going to happen if they get divorced. So now they know the end of it. So now I have a reason to live this marriage. Or I don't have a reason to live this marriage because I know what's going to happen. And that's what Islam does. When I was going through divorce, I know that this is what I'm going to lose. That's what I'm going to gain. So I wait and, okay, let's go for it. We already agreed. It is written. So consider it done if you want it done. So you know exactly A, B, C, D, and that's it. 1, 2, 3, and that's it. So now let's focus on this relationship, how we're going to make it work. I'm sorry I took a long time in this, but expect more of these discussions. And I want you to write those notes down. I really like if Sister Siti cut that question alone by itself and make it like a video. Because this is a conversation we need to have, Why are you staying in this marriage that you are in right now? Write it down. Why are you in the marriage that you're in right now? I'm not saying that you have a bad marriage, but you have to tell yourself the reason. Why am I in this marriage now? Because I feel this is working, this is good. There are struggles. I am in that marriage because I'm forced to. I'm in that marriage because I'm afraid. I'm in that marriage because I do not have other alternative. Write down and find if you are true or not. If it is right, or just assuming or thinking or exaggerating or over, evaluating the situation. You need help. And remember that I told you we all have to seek psychological and mental help, not necessarily because we have a problem, but to make sure we don't have a problem and make sure that we do not get a problem. Yeah. But they need to talk with each other. The husband and wife, they need to talk. And I'm going to be giving khutbahs and the dars on that, on those things of people, how people should do things and what you need to do right now before it's too late.